welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with my first read of 2026. We are making a start on the 2026 TBR and I'm just going to mood read this week. I'm literally going to pick up whatever books I fancy off my January TBR, or if there's anything not on my January TBR that I want to read, we can pick that up too. I'm just going to mood read for the first week of the year and see what we get read. So the first book that I have already started is The Will of the Many by James Islington. This is quite out of my comfort zone. If you don't know, this is a high fantasy book following our main character who has quite a vague past. We know that who he is pretending to be in this life in the book isn't exactly who he is. He's hiding his real identity, essentially. He's hiding quite a lot of things. And the general premise of this is that he is an orphan who ends up at this academy. Basically, the gist is that whilst he's at this academy, he needs to be a bit of a spy, basically, and get intel. In the world that they live in, there's something called will. I don't fully understand the system, like the magic system in this book yet to do with the will. But basically there's different tiers of people, kind of like, well, it is a hierarchy. It's literally called a hierarchy. And that is also something to do with the will. I've not put all the pieces together yet. It is quite complex, but the way it's written isn't complex, which is really nice. It's a very accessible writing style. It's just the actual world and the magic system is complex, but I don't mind that. It's just taking me a bit of time to get my head around how all of the pieces fit together. I am on chapter 32, which is that far in. So what's that, like 35-40% into the book? And I am conflicted. I am enjoying it. I am genuinely enjoying this, but it's slow. The pacing has been slow. Not in that nothing is happening, just in that I think the biggest part of it for me where the pacing kind of bothered me is after we found out that our main character was going to the academy, to him actually arriving and getting started was quite a long time, and that bit felt repetitive. They were basically training him to be ready for the academy, but I didn't find the training bits very interesting. I found them quite repetitive. It was basically him just training one-on-one with this woman kind of over and over and over again, and that's not the only thing that happened. A couple of big things did happen in that timeline, but I just don't think that section of the book necessarily needed to be as long as it was. I mean, what do I know? I've never written a book. But just from a reader's perspective, it felt a bit long for me in that bit. But things are picking up now. He's at the academy. We're getting going. I'm really excited to see him kind of form connections with the other students at the academy and create, like, I'm not sure it's necessarily going to be a found family just because of, like, the deception and the fact that he's not who he says he is. But just, like, some friendships I think would be nice. He's met quite a few people so far, but I want more of, like, I don't know, actual connection between him and other characters. Just, I want some people to root for, basically. I want to know, like, who's on his side, who's not, etc. But yeah, I am enjoying this. It's just slightly slow in the pacing, but I am enjoying it. What I am not enjoying, I won't show you the page I'm on because it's so far in. Let me skip to a page near the beginning. Look how small the font is. I feel like you can never tell on camera how small the font is. Let me show you it compared to, like, a normal book with normal sized font. Like, this is completely normal sized font, and then look at that. Can you see how small that is? I am having to listen to it on audio because genuinely the font was giving me a headache. I don't have very good eyesight and I struggle from eye strain, and trying to read this physically was literally giving me a headache and making me nauseous, not to be dramatic. So I am listening to it on audio. The audiobook's great. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I will probably check back in now when I've maybe just finished this one. And then I have literally no idea what we're going to read next because we're mood reading. I've got an idea, but we'll see if I'm still in the mood for it when I actually finish this book. I've literally just this second finished The Will of the Many by James Islington. I wasn't sure if I was going to read the second one. I'll get into my thoughts in a minute, but that ending, I need the second book in my hands effective immediately, please. So my overall thoughts on this, I think I'm going to give it a 3.5, even though the ending was great. I think I'm still going to give it a 3.5, which was my plan before I read the last few chapters. Obviously, I was open to having my mind changed, but I don't think the ending has changed my mind on the rating. It's just kind of solidified that I do want to read the second book, which I wasn't sure whether I wanted to or not. So, general thoughts. I liked this, I did. I thought it was very clever. I liked that it was still written in quite an accessible way though, like the language isn't too flowery or too kind of, I don't know how to describe what I mean. It's just not too much. It's digestible, even though it's a very big book, and I was intimidated by this. I feel like the writing is easy to understand. Where I feel like this isn't as easy to understand, so we've got quite a few different like factions or groups of people, and each of those, naturally in a book, I think you tend to remember those factions or groups based on the people in or associated with them. But the side characters in this book for me felt very hollow, and it was hard for me throughout the whole book to kind of tell them apart and remember, okay, they belong to that family, or they want to, I keep calling them factions, they're not factions, but it's 9 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what else to call them. Like, I want to, after the academy, be in this faction or work in this place. Like, I found it quite difficult to not tell them apart, but like remember anything about them other than like their name, to be honest. So I think therefore my understanding of the world is more limited than it probably should be, because I don't know, I just feel like we didn't really get to know the characters very much. None of the side characters stood out to me at all. But I feel like we didn't even really get to know Viz, which is another criticism of mine. He is the main character. And I don't even know if I ever told you what this book was about. I think I did. Viz is our main character. And we get told about his past and about why he feels the way he does and why he does the things that he does, which makes sense. But I would have loved to have actually seen a bit more of his past. I really feel like that would have fleshed out the world for me and made me understand what the world used to be like, so I could compare it to what the world is now. I would have found that very helpful, just to have a couple of flashback chapters or something, which taught us a bit more about his past and about not just his past, but like the past of the whole world. I would have really found that quite valuable, I think. But I did really enjoy this. It was an interesting plot. I just think we spent quite a lot of time at the beginning with Viz, but in the whole book actually, I feel like the side characters kept like dipping in and out, which also wasn't helpful to me kind of getting to know them and getting invested in them. I feel like we spent so much time with Viz, but still not getting to know him. So even at the ending was great, but like even the last few chapters when he's doing like, I don't want to say too much, but he's doing some high stakes things in the last few chapters, but I still didn't feel like personally connected, because I don't feel personally connected to Viz. Like, I understand why he feels the way he feels. I understand why he does the things he does. I get that. But I want to be invested. I feel like there's a difference between understanding someone's actions and feelings and actually feeling invested in the outcome of what they're doing. I don't want to say too much, but there was a lot of barriers to what Viz was doing in this book. There was. But I think this suffered a little bit from the kind of golden boy can achieve anything kind of vibe. Like, I don't want to make it sound like everything was easy for him. It wasn't. But ultimately the things that he needed to acquire or do or be happened for him a lot of the time. And I'm not saying it didn't work for them. He did. But I don't know. I just think I would have liked for something in this book to maybe not go the way that Viz needed it to go, to throw in a bit more of a spanner in the works. I don't know, I'm making it sound like this was just easy breezy. It wasn't. He was constantly coming up against shit, but I don't know, ultimately everything that he needed to happen happened, and I sometimes kind of wish that it didn't, and that he had to find ways around things a bit more. The only other thing I wanted to mention, it sounds like I'm shitting on this, I actually really enjoyed this book. The only other thing I wanted to see more of was the rebellion. We hear about it and we do see it at parts, but it felt kind of insular. Same with Viz's actions and motivations, they felt quite insular, and I wish that that was all a bit more joined up. I wish we got to see more of how the rebellion was affecting the world and the hierarchy on a day-to-day basis, but by that I don't mean literally see them every day on page. I just mean, yeah, I don't know, I just wish we got to see more of that. That's just a personal preference thing though. I find that very, very interesting in like a fantasy dystopian world, to actually see more of the rebellion and more of the kind of tensions there. But I did really enjoy this. I am going to read the second book. I don't know when. I'm torn on whether to wait until the third book comes out and then just read like a summary of this and then do the second and third books back to back, or whether to read the second book now and then read summaries of the first and second books and then read the third one when it comes out. But yeah, finished our first book of 2025 and I'm glad it was this one. I'm glad it was something out of my comfort zone and I'm glad that I really enjoyed it. 3.5 sounds low, but it really isn't. Anything above a 3-star for me is a good book. So 3.5, like, this was great. I want a bit more in the second book. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. We've got some quite interesting lighting going on. The sun is shining like directly on me where I'm sat. But I just wanted to give you a reading update. So the second book that we're going to read for this video, as you'll have seen from the B-roll clips, is Slapshot by Chelsea Curto. This is the third book in the DC Stars series by her. And I really enjoyed the first two. I gave them both 4 stars. They're not like absolute god tier books for me, but I'm liking them more and more the further I get into the series. So these are hockey romance books, and this one is Hudson's book. You meet him in the first 2 books. He's one of the... Do I want to say book one more time? He's one of the hockey players for the DC Stars. And this is a very sweet romance. Hudson is an absolute teddy bear. Golden retriever, really sensitive. It's just so sweet. Like, he's just adorable. And he's also blonde. And he's one of them blonde MMCs that make me think that like blonde book boyfriends deserve rights. The premise of this book is that we've got Madeline, who is a chef in a very big famous restaurant in Vegas. That then shuts down and she is left without a job, and through means she becomes Hudson's private chef. So she is working in his house, she's around him all the time, and you get to see their friendship grow, and it's just, again, it's so sweet. She's also got a daughter, so it's single mum, and Lucy, the daughter, is adorable. She's not like an annoying kid in a book. I think kids can be done very well in books. They can also really take away from a book if they're not done right. But I think Lucy's done really well in this book. She's really cute. What I love about this series is that the men, and you're seeing it more in this book. You saw it in the first 2, but I think in this book in particular it's really coming to light that these books really value, alongside female friendships, male friendships, and really highlight the vulnerability and how male friendships can also be very deep and very beautiful. Like, female friendships are always shown as in books, not always, but in the books I read, female friendships are very much celebrated, which is obviously fantastic. But I love that this series also does the same with male friendships, and the men in these books aren't afraid to be vulnerable, they're not scared to cry, they have very deep conversations with each other, they lean on each other all the time. Like, I just think it's great that Chelsea Curto shows her book boyfriends a different way. Even the ones that are supposed to be a bit more like cocky, laddie type of men, she still has moments where they're all kind of vulnerable and show their emotions, and I think that's really important that men have a space like that in books as well, particularly in romance books where it's not always the FMC that's like the emotional one. I think it's really nice in this series that all of the characters have vulnerable moments and show emotion, and that the books really show the importance of friendship between all genders, not just female friendships, even though obviously showing female friendship is great. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. I'm like 60-something% in. I haven't spoke to you about it before now because my thoughts have been the same since I started it. I'm just really enjoying it. It's another like 4-star read. It could get higher than 4-star, but the reason these books don't tend to be higher than 4-star is that I just think they're a bit too long. All of the books in this series are over 400 pages. This one and the last one I think are over 500 pages on Kindle. I think that's a bit long for a romance book, to be honest. And whilst these books are gorgeous, I don't think they have enough exploration of deep hidden topics to be this long. I think they could do with being like 350 pages, and then they would probably be rated higher. But I am still really enjoying it and I'm having a great time. So I'll just pop back in now when I finish this one, I think. I doubt my thoughts will change between now and finishing. But yeah, I will let you know. Please do excuse the clothes in the background. Eventually here we will have some Animal Crossing Lego sets, like a cute little village. Right now what we've got is the aftermath of me clearing out all my drawers and wardrobes and piles of clothes everywhere. Anyway, I have finished Slapshot by Chelsea Curto, and I've settled on a 3.75 because I thought this book was too long. I also think the first 2 books were too long. However, there were things within the first 2 books that kept me gripped enough as to where I was like, yeah, this is kind of too long, but fine. This book was really sweet, really heartwarming, but there was nothing really to justify this book being as long as it was. The Kindle version was 530 pages. I just don't think it needs to be that long. Like, towards the end, I was like ready for it to be done. And that's when you know it's kind of not a 4-star for me. When I'm actually sat thinking, I want this book to be done now. I wouldn't think that about a book that I really, really liked. But I definitely enjoyed this. I'm going to carry on with the series. I didn't dislike this book. I like the characters. I like them together. I love how the single parent trope was done in this. I love how Hudson built a relationship with Madeline's daughter, Lucy. I liked everything in the book. I just thought it was a bit repetitive, a few too many spice scenes. Just, yeah, kind of the same scene over and over and over again, like hockey match spice, hockey match spice. I was like, okay, come on, I'm ready for this to be done now. But I did enjoy it. So that is book number 2 of 2026 complete. Hello everyone, I feel like I'm wearing the same jumper over and over again in every video I film, including this video. It is different days. I just own a washing machine and I really like this jumper and it's the warmest one I've got and it's freezing. Anyway, book number 3 for this video. We're going to read Never Let Me Go by Kashi Shigeru. This is a literary fiction and to be honest I'm not 100% sure what it's about, I can't lie. But I've always just felt compelled to read this and I don't know why. It's just one of those books that I feel drawn to always and I have done for like 10 years and I've just never read it. So I thought, what better time than now? This is a gorgeous floppy copy of this book. I also have it on audio. My library had it with no like wait time. So I've downloaded it because I'm going to go out for a walk now. A gorgeous little New Year's walk. So I thought it'd be nice to go get out in the sunshine and start listening to this. I probably will read some of it physically as well. But I thought we might as well get stuck into it on audio whilst we're out on a walk. So let's go, get some fresh air, get some sunshine and start Never Let Me Go. Completely irrelevant kind of to this video, but I've just bought myself some flowers. It's one of my goals in 2026 to just do small things that make me happy every day or wherever I can, and I love fresh flowers. And I was just in Aldi and I thought, why not buy some fresh flowers? So I just did. I'm very happy about it. Just finished Never Let Me Go by Kashi Shigeru. I don't think I ever gave you a halfway check-in for this. I fear I just read this whole thing and never actually spoke to you about it at all. I think I've settled on a 3.75 star rating. I really, really enjoyed this book. I think a real strength of this author is what they say without saying a word. I think there's a lot of undertones in this book, a lot of things that aren't spoken about but can be picked up on, that really make this book what it is. And I did really love that. I thought it was very cleverly written in a way that doesn't outwardly say a lot of things, but says a lot at the same time, if that makes any sense. But I don't know why, I don't necessarily know what it is that stopped me from rating this higher, because I did really enjoy it, but it didn't make me emotional, even though on paper this is an extremely emotional topic. And like, obviously in my head I can recognise there are emotional things in here. I just didn't feel that kind of connection to it, I suppose. I think I wanted to know a little bit more about their time at the school. Like, we saw them there a lot and we heard brief snippets of how things worked, like with the sales and all those little bits. I think I would have just liked to know a bit more about that and about the kind of peculiar things that went on there that they thought were normal. And then I would like to have seen a bit more kind of explicitly their reaction to the real world once they kind of got out there. But I did really love this. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm so glad that I read it. Yeah, that is book number 3 for this video complete. Book number 4 for this video is going to be Emma by Jane Austen. It is on my January TBR. I have a goal to read more classics this year, broaden my horizons a little bit. And the first one that we are going to be reading in 2026 is Emma. I don't know a massive amount about this. I'm currently on chapter 2 and I love her already. Basically, it's kind of what you would expect from a classic. We're in a society where women need to get married. It's very important that they do so. It's kind of, you know, it's just what women do. They get married so that the husband can support them. Emma is different. She's very, very headstrong. She is not married. She's 21, which, like, for me is really young, but obviously at that time to be 21 and have no kind of marriage prospects isn't young. I don't want to say she's old. It feels weird to say that she's old, but in their society she would be seen as being quite old to be unmarried. But yeah, I already love Emma. I don't know what the book, well, I mean, it's obviously a romance book, so she's probably going to end up married by the end of it, but I love her as a character so much already. She's just funny, smart, snarky, like she's already said, because she now lives alone with her father, and she said, like, he's just not smart, like he and she's basically said, like, oh, he's just not that intelligent, like the conversations I have with him, they don't stimulate my brain, like he's just not as clever as me. And I just love that. I love that she's headstrong. I love that she knows herself, and I love that she doesn't seem scared to speak about her strengths and speak about how great she is, and I love that. So I'm already very much enjoying this book, even though I am only on chapter 2. I will endeavour to give you a halfway update on this one and not just read the whole thing. This one is a much longer book, so I'm confident that I will remember to speak to you at some point before I finish it. I've just been sat editing this video, and you are not going to believe the next clip was filmed on a different day to the one that you've just seen. I look exactly the same. If you look close, you can tell that my hair is different in the light and it's different. But I'm wearing the same thing. I've got the same hairstyle. I look the same. So I just wanted to pop in and say these were taken a full day apart. I'm not lying and like fake filming clips at random times. They were filmed on different days. I am now 50% through Emma and I love it. I'm having a great time. There's not much to talk about. They're just chatting shit and trying to get everyone to get married and having balls and talking about food and walking about and talking about dresses and ribbons. But I just love it. This has got me so in the mood to watch Pride and Prejudice, the film. So I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go and put Pride and Prejudice on, because I've already read that book. I don't want to watch any of the other adaptations yet, because Pride and Prejudice is the only Jane Austen that I've read. But yeah, this is just, I think it's the perfect day to read this. It's really sunny outside, and I just imagine, like, I can't wait in the spring to go and sit out, like, on the grass in the sun and read another Jane Austen. I think it's just the perfect read, even though it's freezing because it's the middle of winter. I think it's just the perfect read on like a sunny spring feeling or spring looking day. It doesn't feel like spring, it's freezing. A spring looking day where there's no snow or anything and it's just really sunny. I don't know, I just think I'm reading this at the right time. I'm having a great time. I love Emma still. I think she's a real shining star of the book. Obviously she's the main character, but it's not always the main character that you end up loving the most, but I love Emma. Please excuse the background and lighting. Believe it or not, this is the best I can do in the house right now. As you can kind of see out the window, it is rather dark. I have finished Emma by Jane Austen and I settled on a 4-star. I loved this. All my previous thoughts stand. It was just a silly, fun, goofy time. And I know we're kind of supposed to hate Emma. I don't. I love Emma. I just think, like, she lives in a society where women are taught that the only thing they should really care about is marriage. And she just said, okay, I'll focus on marriage. You never said it had to be mine. Because, like, she does literally spend the whole book trying to, like, force people to get married, but what else is she supposed to do in such a time? So I loved her. I thought she was great. I loved this book. I loved the vibes and just, like, the whimsy of it. I thought it was fantastic. And we are now going to go on to book number 5, which will be the last book for this video, and that is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerry Maniscalco. Sorry for the angle and lighting, but I just need to talk to you like now. It's in the morning, I'm about to start work. I'm 77% through Stalking Jack the Ripper. And I'm confused. So, and not at the plot, I'm confused at the way this has been written. So up until around this point, we've not really had any clue as to who the Ripper in the book is. Did I even talk about what this book was about? Audrey Rose is trying to find out who the Ripper is. She apprentices for her uncle, who basically does postmortems, and she's quite interested in all that stuff. So she's trying to figure out, like, who Jack the Ripper is in the book. And up until this point, she's been doing work, she's been, you know, going out, dissecting bodies, but she's not really had any idea as to who it is. She's had a couple of, like, suspicions, but she's not really looked into those suspicions. And then she gets a suspicion, she gets an idea of who she thinks it is and just goes all in. And, like, in her head, it is that person. Bearing in mind, she's not got proof. She's got, like, a vague few things that could point to it being this person. And I don't know whether it is this person or not. I'm not saying whether or not it is, because I genuinely have no idea. But I'm confused as to how we've got 77% in with not really any kind of idea of who this murderer might be. And then all of a sudden she's just decided, oh my God, it is that person. That's that. And she's all in on that idea. Like, babe, that's not really very good investigative skills. You've just decided it's this person on a bit of a whim, to be honest. Up until now, the story felt consistently paced. It was a bit boring for my liking, to be honest. I think it should have been done that we suspect someone and then we suspect someone else, and it kind of builds up until we've got several suspects all at the same time. We've not really had that. We've not really had that kind of tension and build up. It's just we've been bitting and bobbing about doing things, and then all of a sudden she's just decided who it is with no, like, breakthrough clue. She's just decided. I hope that makes sense. I just feel like, I don't know, this has made the book feel really weirdly paced. And I'm sure it's not going to be this person, because surely now it'd be too obvious that she's gone, like, all in on it. So I don't know. I'm not loving it now. I'm not hating the book. It's probably going to be like a 3.5 star. But this has just thrown me, the way that this has just been chucked in. It doesn't feel like there's any true mystery because we're not building up to anything. I'm not obsessed, but I'm not disliking it. Just wanted to pop in and give you an update. This is just weird now. Like, this is just ridiculous. Editing me again. Turns out that's where the video ended. My brain's not working right now. You're going to have to bear with me. Everything I said about Stalking Jack the Ripper stands. I think it was ridiculous. The ending was ridiculous. The reveal of who it was ridiculous. The way that the characters dealt with that was ridiculous. Are you sensing a theme? I gave it 2.5 stars because for, like, the first 70% of the book was a little bit like, come on, let's start digging into this a bit more. Let's start finding some clues. Yeah, it wasn't, like, the best thing I've ever read, but it was fine. Like, I was having an okay time for the first 70%. It was from there on that we went downhill and the star rating just began to plummet. So yeah, 2.5 stars. So not the best for one of our first books of the year, but, like, I'm not angry at it per se. Like, I don't mind reading a book that's not, like, a 5 star, as long as I'm not, like, fuming every time I think about it. I'm just probably never going to think about this again, to be honest. But anyway, that brings us to the end of this video. I think we've had quite a successful first few books. Have we had any above 4 star? No. But I feel like most of the books, other than Stalking Jack the Ripper, I feel like the books we read in this video were solid books. Even if they weren't personal favourites of mine, I'm glad I read them all. They've been on my radar for a long time. They were just, like, solid, good books. Hopefully, in my next few reads, we will find a 5 star, but we will see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.